everyone, welcome to Pai's Kitchen. Today I'm going to share with you my mother's favorite way to have spinach. Now, I was inspired to make this recipe because I ended up with a ton of spinach left from my green muffin recipe, and if you missed that, I'll put the link right up here. Now, I am making a cheesy spinach casserole, which is actually a very popular dish in Thailand. We call it กขมอบcheese, and we of course consider it Western food, but I love putting it on toast in the morning with an egg on top, but a lot of people just serve it as a side dish or even eat it straight up, and it's got bacon in it. So let's get started. Really, really easy. I'm going to start out with a massive pot, and you'll see why in a second, but I'm going to saute some onions and garlic in some butter. It's good already, isn't it? Okay. The butter's mostly melted now. I'm going to go in with my onions. So I've got some chopped onion right here. I'm going to saute that until it's nice and soft and translucent. And I'm also going to add some chopped garlic because everything is better with garlic. Yeah, who agrees with that? And then just to help the onion and the garlic release moisture more quickly, I'm going to add just a little bit of salt. And that applies with any vegetable, by the way. If you're trying to wilt something, add a little salt, make it go faster. So while we're waiting for that, I'm just gonna let that go low and slow and stir it every once in a while, but let's take a look at the bacon. So I got 3 pieces of bacon here that is crispy, and I cook this in the microwave, and I'll put all the details in the written recipe, but it's the best way to cook bacon. It's so fast and least messy, but you can cook your bacon however you want, but you wanna make it crispy. Now I'm going to pound this, the Thai in me comes out, into little bits, and I'm basically making bacon bits which I can incorporate into the casserole. So I find, look how crispy that is, that if I just do a quick pound a few times, you get little bacon bits. That smell of butter and onion and garlic. All right, I'm gonna add some spices now with some black pepper. Yes, black pepper is a spice. And I'm also gonna add a little bit of nutmeg. Now, nutmeg goes super well with anything creamy, cheesy. It's a classic spice to add in a bechamel sauce. Oh, that smells incredible. Be very quick because the spices will burn quickly. I'm gonna add my spinach. And this is why I need a massive pot. I've got a pound of spinach here, and don't worry, this will cook down to nothing. I'm using baby spinach. If you are using non-baby spinach, grown-up spinach, you probably have to chop it a little bit so you don't get spinach noodles at the end of the day. See, I love cooking with spinach because it makes you feel like you're eating so much greens. I mean, look at this. And this makes like 4 servings. And if you don't have a massive pot like this, just do it in batches. Add some, let it wilt, add some more, let it wilt some more. Now, I'm gonna use tongs to sort of help flip the bottom to the top. And of course, this will work in a wok as well, nice and big. But this is so much prettier. All right, see, just after about 30 seconds or so, now I don't even have half of what I started with. And somehow I feel so cheated. All right, so at this point, the spinach is wilted, but see how much water there is coming out? Yeah, we want to dry out all of that because we want to make room for the milk so that we get extra creamy and not watery spinach casserole. So we'll let that go for a few minutes. Now, let's take a look at the thickener. So I've got here just a little bit of flour just to give some body to the casserole. And I'm gonna dissolve the flour with some milk. And I'm using 2% milk. You can go whole milk. Give it a little stir with the mini whisk. Just gonna combine it with the milk. I'm telling you, the mini whisk is the secret to all my delicious cooking. All right, see how the spinach is now dried up pretty much. There's not any water pooling anymore. Time to go in with the milk and the flour. So basically, if you know or have made a bechamel sauce before, we're basically making a quick bechamel right in this pot. And it's gonna look way too watery, but don't worry, I'm gonna cook it down. The flour's gonna thicken everything. Oh yeah. If it looks like there's too much liquid, don't panic, just keep cooking. It will evaporate, okay? All right, I am pretty happy with that. I'm going to now add the bacon bits. And this is why I crunched it all up, because I want even distribution of bacon. It'll add a little texture, a little chewiness. And here's the cheese. I've got some grated good Parmesan cheese going in that I'm gonna stir right in there and let it melt. Now, if you like a lot of cheese, you can put a lot of cheese. If you don't like too much cheese, you don't have to put a lot. It's kind of up to you. And that is it. How easy is that? Well, not yet. We still need to put it in a casserole dish and put some cheese on top, but that's pretty much for the bulk of it. So at this point, you definitely want to give it a taste. Ooh, because everybody's bacon, everybody's cheese is going to have different levels of salt. So you want to make sure the seasoning is exactly as it should be, keeping in mind that we're going to put more cheese on top of it. So at this point, it should be just a little bit undersalted, okay? Oh, that's perfect. All right, so you can definitely bake this all in one casserole, but I like making little individual ones. Just so much cuter. Okay. Now, you probably noticed when I was dishing these out, there are a lot of long pieces. Even though these are baby spinach, some of them are like this long. So I like to go in and snip, snip, snip just a couple of times like each way. And that'll cut down any long stringy bits. And it's so much faster than to try to chop a whole bag of spinach when it's still fresh. So this is my little trick right here. Here's the cheesiest part of this dish. And that is I'm gonna top it with any kind of good melty cheese. I'm just using good old pizza mozzarella here, but anything you've got, just make sure you think about how salty that cheese is. Say if you want to go with cheddar, that's gonna be saltier, so you don't want to put as much salt in the spinach itself. Now, I'm gonna put these under the broiler to melt and char the cheese, but before you do that, if you spilled or got anything on the outside, you wanna clean that off with some wet paper towel, because if you put that under the broiler, then it'll dry right onto the casserole dish and it'll be a pain to clean. So you wanna get rid of any drippage. All right, under the broiler on high. Oh, look at that. And I can't describe to you the smell of that right now. You can eat this straight up, as I said earlier, as a side dish, or what I like to do is I put it on toast in the morning and then put an egg on top of the spinach. So good. Whew. It's got the most velvety texture. Just the cooked down spinach and that creamy sauce, but then you get a little bit of a chewiness from the little bacon bits and the cheese, like little salty punch from the cheese. This is so good. I mean, like, I can literally just sit with a bowl of this and eat it all day. It's so good. It's super easy. So I hope you give it a try. The recipe, as always, will be on pieskitchen.com. And when you make it, send me a photo on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. And make sure you subscribe to the show so you don't miss an episode. And I will see you next time for your next delicious adventure.